Now that the Moro arc is finally over, the scope of Dragon Ball is being refocused right now as the Z Fighters enter a short period of peace. However, evil, while maybe not as powerful as Moro at the moment, still lurks somewhere in the universe. Merus has returned, though as a mortal with a lifespan now and free from both his angel powers and the Code of the Gods, while Beerus and the Supreme Kai also pay a small price for his misdoings in the God Realm. While things may be somewhat back to normal for our main timelines, Goku and friends, off in a separate timeline, the very universe itself is in danger of meeting the same fate as the planets Moro had consumed. Super Dragon Ball Heroes has returned with its 30th episode after the special airing of episode 29, but this episode hops right back into the action, dealing with Fu and the Z Fighters from parallel universes. The plan to blossom the universal tree has commenced as Fu has started sucking the very life out of every planet in the multiverse in order to feed the tree its nutrients it needs to blossom. Once fully sprouted, Fu planned to use the tree to create a whole new universe all its own that only he ruled over. This conflict of course drew the attention of the Time Patrollers, who battled with Fu's gang for ages until finally, the Xeno Warriors came in contact with the main timeline's Goku and Vegeta. Xeno Trunks, Goku, Vegeta, and the main timeline Z Fighters, as well as some very surprising allies as well, worked their way through the core area warriors until finally, Fu was beginning to come closer and closer as Xeno, Goku, and Vegeta in the underworld went on to battle a reincarnation of Janemba of all people. Janemba, as well as the one who recreated him, Dr. W, held off Xeno, Goku, and Vegeta for quite some time, as Dr. W admitted that their powers as well as the powers of Super Saiyan Blue had already been thoroughly analyzed by him and he had readily prepared for them. It wasn't until the other Z Fighters eventually showed up to help that Xeno, Goku, and Vegeta were finally able to eliminate Janemba, with the power of their friends ascending to something known as Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4. After defeating Janemba, the gang of Z Fighters then traveled back to the base of the Universal Tree, where they're met by none other than Fu himself, who awaits the final moments of the birth of the tree. Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta battle against Fu after the rest of the Z Fighters have been teleported away by Toa, and even their powers fighting side by side don't seem to be enough to stop the dark powers of Fu. With really no other options left, Goku remembers the gift he received from Salsa, a last ditch attempt in case things got too tricky with Fu, a set of Patara earrings. Goku tosses one to Vegeta, and upon both of them placing them on their ears, Goku and Vegeta merge once again into Super Saiyan Blue Vegito in order to combat Fu. With their powers now combined and multiplied dozens of times over, Vegeta begins to take the battle into his own hands against Fu, showing the true power of Fu's Saiyan gods, but this is when the Universal Tree finally begins to blossom into its full form as the two stop fighting almost immediately. With no time left, Vegito can only look on as the tree begins to bloom and Fu's plan of creating a new universe succeeds. However, as quickly as the tree blooms, it shockingly dies in the same breath, dropping the jaw of literally everyone on the scene. If you guys want to check out the entire episode of Super Dragon Ball Heroes episode 30 for yourselves, as always, I recommend checking around YouTube for both the subbed and raw versions of the episode for easier viewing, but I'll link the one I watched personally below. Please remember guys, Super Dragon Ball Heroes is a promotional anime for the arcade game and is in no way canon to the main timeline whatsoever. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to have those notifications turned on to never miss an upload as soon as they go live, and if you've been enjoying all of the anime content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. Be sure to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related content guys, but without further ado, as the Universal Tree continues to crumble, Fu anxiously pulls up his monitors displaying planets across the entire multiverse that the roots were taking energy from. All across the multiverse, the planets that were just moments ago on the verge of extinction due to the tree taking their very life forces are all back to their vibrant selves once again, as if the tree never affected them at all. To Fu's and even Vegito's shock, somehow the tree has died as Fu demands to know what's going on here. This is when we cut to somewhere deep in space in Universe 7 as we see Beerus, Whis, Champa, and Vados floating in the vacuum of space as Whis states that their wish to destroy the Universal Tree has been granted. This is when we see that these 4 gods have taken it upon themselves to gather the Super Dragon Balls spread across their 2 universes and summon Super Shenron. The roots of the Universal Tree have now been destroyed thanks to the gods as Few looks on angrily. Vegito thanks the gods that they've lended a hand this time, and now he can dispose of Few once and for all with no worries. Few begins to erupt in a rampage toward the gods that foiled his plan, but this is when both Towa and Mira appear again as well after transporting away the other Z Fighters. Towa states to Fu not to worry because they have something very special they want to give him, and this is when she tosses what looks to resemble a familiar orb of just pure dark energy at him. Few tries to fend off this energy, but the will of the Dark King takes him over as he's stained with the memories of the events that led to this even before he himself was born. Once the will of the Dark King finally possesses him fully, Few's violent fit calms down as he says that now he truly understands his identity. He places his hands in front of him as Vegito braces for an attack. However, Few continues to absorb the dark energy from the orb until ultimately it shatters from being fully consumed by him. Once the transformation is complete, Few's energy causes a shockwave that sends Mira, Towa, and Vegito flying as we then get to see his new form for the very first time. This is Dark Demon King Few. Few, now at the full potential of his power after merging with the Dark King's will, turns to Towa and Mira and asks just what he should call her now. She addresses him as the new Dark King and they both bow to him, to which he tells them that they're no longer necessary then. He then goes on to infuse the now dead Universal Tree with his own dark energy in order to revive it, but Vegito immediately interrupts him, flying in and throwing a punch that Few ultimately dodges. Vegito continues to attack Few to keep him from reviving the tree, tossing a flurry of ki blasts at him. Few evades the attack through the smoke but is immediately met by Vegito, who keeps the pressure on him as the two continue to clash. Few condescendingly tells him to not interfere as now it's his duty to revive the Universal Tree with his own powers, but Vegito refuses to let him. This time, Demon King Few goes on the offensive, charging at Vegito, but Vegito of course dodges all of his attacks, taunting him the whole time. Few, being fed up with the Saiyan's antics, throws a devastating punch that's met with one by Vegito himself as well, causing a huge shockwave to go off that sends rumbles across the battlefield. As their high-speed battle continues across the roots and branches of the tree, Few and Vegito look similarly matched for the first time being, but this is when Mira and Towa decide to get involved and attempt to interrupt the fight. They fire ki blasts at the areas the shockwaves go off in hopes of hitting Vegito as well, but Towa tells Few that he should go continue with his plan and leave the Saiyan to them now. He obliges and continues to feed the Dark Tree with his own energy as Vegito is now stuck in pretty much a 3-on-1 battle with the Demon Realm. Mira and Towa make it increasingly difficult for him to even get close to Few as Vegito struggles, but this is when a piercing light breaks through the realm as when we look above, another warrior has now appeared on the battlefield. Super Saiyan 4 Vegito has arrived, composed of Xeno Goku and Vegeta once again, but that's not all. Along with him is also Demigra, a former foe who assisted Vegito in getting here. Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito has been born once again, and this time will fight alongside his own Super Saiyan Blue counterpart from another timeline. He decks Few with a crushing punch that levels out the odds of this battle now as well. However, this version of Vegito has a personal bone to pick with Few and the Dark King. Somewhere in another realm, however, as episode 30 comes to a close with 2 Vegitos in the same battle, a dark and evil energy is brewing, and growing increasingly strong by the second. On a platform of rubble stands Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan whose anger, hatred, and bloodlust hasn't dimmered even for an instant, with his goal being total annihilation of anything he pleases, but none more so than Goku and the Z Fighters.